Welcome to Dance Fit Biz Builders. I'm Orit, dancer, instructor, and proud owner of a thriving belly dance fitness business. And in this podcast, I'm giving it to you straight, sharing what it takes to kickstart and grow your dance and fitness business for the success you deserve. Whether you're a seasoned instructor, a passionate performer, or dreaming of turning your love for dance and fitness into a thriving career, you're in the right place. Lace up those sneakers and pull on those dance shoes and get ready for truth smacks, tips, and inspiration. Let's do this. Hey there, and welcome to the Dance Fit Biz Builders podcast. I'm Orit, your host, and thank you so much for listening in today. So I'm talking about something today that I know many of you have experienced, and honestly, it's something I've lived through myself, and that's gossip. Talking behind people's backs. Those whispered comments like, in high school, like in the hallway. The messages sent in private chats, the little digs that are passed around. This is the thing though, guys. Gossip, it may feel small to some people. Sometimes it could be entertaining. I have to admit, I've been on the gossiping end. It's poison. It doesn't just hurt the person being talked about. It damages our community. It damages our trust and our industry as a whole. And I want to share my perspective on this because this is not just theory, it's personal. So there was a time when I found out that other teachers in New York, when I started my company, I thought those people respected me. But in fact, they were talking behind my back. Things like her way of teaching isn't real belly dance, or she only cares about the fitness, not the art. Or sometimes they even questioned my motives, like I was more in it for the money. And little did they know that I am someone of the culture. I grew up with it. And it's only like years later that they found out. But anyway, I'm not going to lie. It stung a lot because it wasn't just about me. It was about the work. It was about the love. It was about the years I'd put into this dance form. But what hurt the most was that these people never came to me directly. If they had, we could have had a real conversation. Instead, it was whispered. It was whispered in shared side groups or passed from like ear to ear until it got back to me. And here's the thing. My students heard some of it too. And when that happens, students feel like they have to pick sides. That's not fair to them. And it's not healthy for the community. So why do people do this? Well, I think it's kind of obvious. It's insecurity, right? When teachers feel threatened, when they see students trying other classes, or when someone else is doing something different, that fear of not being good enough creeps in. And I think it's the fear of not being good enough or not being a part of something, or are they missing something? It also could be maybe jealousy. Like, why did she get that part? Or why did she get that gig in that health club or in that dance facility? Why does she have so many more students? Instead of sitting with the feeling, it turns into a comment whispered to somebody else. And another thing it could be is possibly a scarcity mindset. The belief that another teacher succeeds, there's less room for somebody else, right? And sometimes gossip just feels like connection to people, but it's not the right connection. It's false connection. It's toxic connection. And I have to admit, I was also on, not necessarily gossiping, but like making comments, like for example, and this is when I was starting out in New York and I was building Sharkey there, and like belly dance is really hot, and students have said, oh, so-and-so is teaching, and oh, I want to go try this lady. And I would say under my breath, because honestly, I was insecure. And I would say, go ahead, try it, go ahead, but I know you'll be back. It was a little bit of a dig. Well, not a little bit, it was a dig. But lo and behold, a month or two later, they were back. And they said, oh, Orit, you're right. Once I take you, I can't go to another teacher. But anyway, I was part of it. So I want to talk about like the truth of gossip, and that it just doesn't affect the person being talked about. What it really does, it breaks down the respect between teachers, right? It puts students in tough positions. And then they don't come to class to get caught in drama. They want to come to class to move, to feel good. It also shrinks the industry because people stop trusting the community. And then when the trust is gone, so is the joy. And honestly, it makes the person spreading gossip look insecure. And I'm admitting I was one of them at one point. Why? Because if you're confident in what you offer, you don't need to tear anyone else down. So what's the alternative? I think if you have an issue, talk directly to the person. Look, I know it's uncomfortable, but nothing changes if we don't face it. But I do have to say an exception. And here's another little story. Someone wanted to get certified in the Sharkey format. And this person did ultimately. But when this person talked to her teacher about it, and this was years ago, that teacher said, "Oh, don't take from this person because this person is a specific ethnicity." And so for years, this person didn't take it. And then this person kept on getting my emails and getting the gist of who I am and was like, "Hey, I still want to get certified. Her ethnicity doesn't mean anything. She's still knowledgeable, right?" I'm telling you the story because when I just mentioned that talk to the person directly, sometimes that is just a waste of time. It could be. Because if you don't like a person or if you don't think a person is credible just because they're an ethnicity, I mean, I don't think there's any talking to that person. For me, that's just a personality I just don't want to even be around. But that's just me. But I ended up actually talking to that person years later because I came to find out who that was. And nothing was brought up. We just spoke professionally. So here's another alternative. Let's practice lifting others up publicly, even if you disagree privately. Right? Respect doesn't mean you have to love or agree with everything someone else does, right? It just means you honor their right to do it their way. Focus on your student's craft, not someone else's reputation. That's where your energy should belong. And also remember that collaboration, it expands the pie, right? So collaborate, because gossip just cuts the pie even smaller. Here's my challenge for you this week, and I want to practice it as well. Let's notice our own words. The next time you feel that little spark of gossip coming up, stop and ask yourself, is this really about them or is this about me? Because 9 times out of 10, it's about our own insecurity. So when we shift from gossip to respect, from judgment to curiosity, from whispering behind people's backs to actually having a dialogue, that's when our community can grow stronger. And that's when we create dance spaces where everyone feels safe, valued, and supported. And let me tell you, I've done this. I've created Haflas in New York City where I invited those people that talked about me, those people that never invited me to dance in their showcases. So what did I do? I invited them. But that was years later when I grew older, I got more mature, and I realized gossiping ain't working. So the day you stop caring about what is being said behind your back, someone else's back, and start focusing on the students, that's the day you're going to feel free. So let's start respecting others so we can keep this art, this community thriving. All right, folks, I hope this helped. Until next episode, go and kick ass.